Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks, and somebody sent me this photograph of a wordage with some layers, and I asked them, well, they didn't want to do those wordage, and one of the ones they picked was Home Sweet Home. I have picked Gabriola, because if you get Gabriola and you highlight it, you've got some fancy sweeping fonts in it that'll look pretty cool in this case maybe. So we're going to go object, break it apart, and we actually get more, but we can take some of these away. We can go object, break apart, and take it back. And you can do a lot with this. We can left click, right click, and we actually get some outlines of what we want to do. And then I would maybe, we can't have that part, so we need to see if we can't move this out of the way. And that, if you notice that was part of the E. And I don't know, what they're really planning is, but I'm going to go something like this. And maybe we could have left that other one. You don't have to have the wordage connected, and but it might look pretty cool. This will make it easier if we can bind these lines, or at least in my opinion. So we need to ungroup it or break it apart. Well, we break it apart and we get that. I've never really done this before. Let's go to object, convert it to a curve, and then try to maybe break the curve apart. There we go. And we still got those flare-looking frilly parts. And we're going to maybe we'll take the shape tool, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to make it too fancy. You still want it to be curved, but it would be neater to have these lines kind of join the text. Because if you don't, and see, I could spend a lot of time, deleting nodes and everything and taking stuff away, making it look better. I'm just going to do this, and then we've got the same thing here. And don't really have to, but you could have some of these letters meet. We're not going to, because they're really kind of on the inside. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to convert this to a curve, and then we can break the curve apart. So I'm just kind of manipulating these nodes. Maybe put this down in here, and you can see, if you took a lot of time and had it perfect. Now let's just happen to see if we can weld this. And no, we cannot, because of the way I did some things. So here's a way around this, because we've manipulated it so much. Let's take, this thing's like 9 inches tall. Let's set our nudge factor on 10. Let's fill in with the Smart Fill tool all the parts that are going to do that. All the center parts. I don't know if those would do that, but we'll go ahead and do all the center parts. That might be done. We'll just have to wait and see. And then weld this. And that's exactly what I thought, so we're good. The two parts of the E, we're going to left click, right click, and nudge them right back. Whoop, I accidentally moved it, so I'm going to put it back. Left click, right click. I'm doing them in black just so we can see. Everything else looks good except for that. Because when you do things like this, when you break them apart, sometimes that happens. So you can always go backwards. And I think we have it. Well, we need one more part of the E. So I messed up there. But what we can do, because it's the same font, you could back up, but we could make a copy of that, hit the plus key on the keyboard, and just manually move that to that E spot. And you could play around with that and tweak it some more. And it looks like it's a little bit out of rotation. My personal preference, if I wasn't making a video for that, I would just redo it. Then what I would do, let's get rid of these. I'm going to smart fill everything. And what it's going to kind of do, it's going to kind of seal everything. And see what it did? So we got all that. We'll do the H. We'll do the, probably don't even have to do this. But that way, you know, one, you have any leaks, and two, it'll just kind of make sure you got everything. I need to do the E. Look pretty cool. So now we can left click. I'm actually going to leave it in black for right now. So now we've got all that. And, you know, this thing has some flowers and everything, but see how everything's kind of connected in a way? So let's group this together, object group, and let's select it all, and let's go to effects and contour. And we're going to contour the outside like 0.5. Because I have a field, it looks like that. So what I'm going to do is left click, right click, and I'm actually going to contour in a red. Doesn't really matter right now, you know, if you use RGB or whatever, but I want it red. Corel does that sometimes. You have to go down to RGB. Laser engraver is going to want to use RGB. So now you've got that. That's kind of what we're looking for in a way. Now, I noticed in this photograph that there are some voids right here in the second layer. And you wouldn't really, to me, you wouldn't really want those. So what you could do now is go up to Object, break the contour apart, click on one of those, go up to Object and break the curve apart, and let's get rid of those. I'm just hitting delete. I'm just deleting them. Because they're really so minute, they don't really matter. Now we can grab this and nudge it down. There's our second layer. This is going to be our first layer. It might be a little thin, but we're going to go ahead and color it in black and then take away the outline right now, because really when you cut that out, you're going to want no outline and a red hairline, and make sure you're on a hairline because you're going to cut that out. Now, when I said earlier about it would be beneficial to have these letters welded together, because you're going to have to individually glue them down. So there's going to be a few, but you can do pretty much by hand in that. So this is your back layer. So if we look now and turn this black for a second, take away the outline so it just looks black. Let's make this a light blue and let's nudge it up, and that's what it's going to look like. Now I would have probably maybe contoured a little bit bigger. Matter of fact, let's do, because I don't like that spot right there. Let's turn this back into a, and remember we contoured, you have to group it together for the contour to work. Let's contour 1 inch. Going to take just a second. Now, see what's wrong? It's got these sharp points. Back up and make sure you contour the rounded corners. That'll give you a better looking effect. And she might, the person I'm trying to help, you know, if you want the words just stacked on top of each other like that. Now we have that contour, you need to break it apart. But also you see that it's not, it doesn't have those inner voids. And then, let me just put that up. Let me put this more in the center of the page. And then just start, you know, either find some flowers on the internet. I'm not going to do them all. These are really easy to make. Matter of fact, let's use common shapes. And let's use the heart. And let's draw heart shape. And then I'm going to actually put it in the center of the page. Now, remember, do not move, nudge every time, so you can get that back. Control D and make a duplicate. And we're going to rotate from the center, let's say 90 degrees. Let's go less than that. Let's go 72 degrees. Control D. A lot of times Corel will do that. Just double check your rotation. Make it 144. I didn't make a duplicate. Control D, make a duplicate. 144. Control D, Control D. Weld it. Look at that. You've got it outside of a flower, maybe too uniform. But then you could do a lot of things. You could contour to the inside, like 0.2, let's say. That looks kind of funky. Let's go 0.3. And that, you see what I mean? You're just going to have to design your own flower. But this could be one layer. We need to go up to Object, break the contour apart. This could be blue, and the other one could be a lighter blue, and kind of make it look. I'm just trying, and then you could make leaves the same way. But what I'm getting at, when you have it in this stage, let's nudge that back. Let's take, now you can move these, you don't have to worry about it. And we really just want the outside one, so I'm going to nudge the inside. And then you could put this flower up there. You could put another flower over here. Let's just make one more flower up top. And this is where your artistic ability will show or not. And then let's weld that. And then when you nudge, and I should have, let me back up here. This would be it doesn't matter. You're going to glue those in. So we got all those. We're going to weld it. So that gives you a new look, if you can see. And then you make your flowers and put them in there individually or whatever leaves. And this is where, as a laser engraver, you want a 0.001 nudge, and you can nudge it so minutely just to see what it looks like, because you've got to glue these on anyway. But that would be 3 layers. Really, excuse me, really this is just a 2-layer one. Let's move these out of the way for a second. Let's move the down home. Whoop. So I hit it twice because my nudge factor was set so little. Let's set it on 10 inches. Let's nudge that down. And then you could actually make another layer. Let's contour it to the outside, 1/2 inch. Makes a totally different layer. Go to Object, break the contour apart, and now you have another layer. So if we make that layer blue, we make this layer yellow, and we make these, let's make them white. And no outline. They're a little kind of hard to tell. Should have made them something other than white. Make them that light blue. And so that's going to give you, and then you would glue these on in whatever color. I mean, this particular one is all one color, which would be super easy because then you could just paint it, after you've got it all glued together. And you could make if you were going to, I personally would think, if you ever get lost on your pages, hit F4. And then let's make that one red, make that one red, and make that one red if you were going to paint them individually. Let's make the Home Sweet Home red too, so it just stands out. A little bit different, but if you had more flowers and leaves, you're going to get more contour. Anyway, I hope that helped her a little bit. Thank you for watching.